Top 10 Leveling System Mahua. Hey anime fans, welcome to We Love Anime. Today I'm counting down my picks for the top 10 most addictive and binge-worthy leveling system Mahua and Mawa that you need to read right now. These action-packed titles feature characters fighting their way through futuristic virtual reality games, mystical towers, and apocalyptic worlds as they gain experience, new abilities, and crazy power-ups. If you love seeing characters grow stronger and face increasingly mightier foes, you'll be hooked on these. Let's get into it. Hardcore Leveling Warrior. At number 10 is the ultra-violent Hardcore Leveling Warrior. When the world's best gamer is stranded in a buggy version of the world's top augmented reality game, he'll do anything to reclaim his number 1 rank. I'll try to keep this short. So, the story revolves around a game called Lucid Dreams, and in that, an OP character named Hardcore Leveling Warrior is throned as the strongest player. But one day, he loses all his power by getting killed by an unknown identity. And after that point, it's all about how he gains his powers back, and in the midst of his journey, he makes some reliable friends. There are great fight scenes, lovable characters, and also good comedy. It's a perfect mix for me, so I thoroughly enjoyed it. Give it a go, and I'm sure it won't disappoint you. It's a hell of a ride. Solo Leveling. E-Class Hunter Jin Woo-sung is the weakest of them all. Looked down on by everyone, he has no money, no abilities to speak of, and no other job prospects. So when his party finds a hidden dungeon, he's determined to use this chance to change his life for the better. But the opportunity he finds is a bit different from what he had in mind. Solo Leveling revolutionized the leveling genre with his gritty dungeon diving and beautifully painted colored artwork. It follows an incredibly weak hunter, the world's weakest, who unlocks a hidden ability and starts to level up at an astronomical pace. Survival story of a Sword King in a fantasy world. After being recently discharged from military service and just drifting through life, Hanbin Ryu is suddenly transported to another world. However, his guideline, the system bestowed upon him to help him with the survival and growth, was filled with errors, causing him to be stuck in the tutorial stage for over 20 years. When he's finally released from this personal hell, he finds everyone has turned against otherworlders like him. Just how will this low-level, super tutorial newbie survive? In this brutal isekai title, our cold-hearted main character uses his modern weapons expertise to cut down wave after wave of monstrous beasts, bandits, and assassins trying to take him out in a mystical tower. The fast-paced fights will keep you pumped. The Great Mage returns after 4,000 years. Lucas Stroman was the greatest archmage in history until he was condemned by Demigod to spend eternity losing his mind. But 4,000 years later, he's thrust back into this world into the body of Frey Blake, the weakest, most untalented student at a prestigious Westwood Academy for mages. After all this time, the world of magic has barely progressed. Could this be the work of Demigod? Determined to find out, Lucas seeks to reach the highest levels of power once again and get his revenge. You'll enjoy seeing the arrogant main character destroy anyone who underestimates him with ridiculous overpowered magic spells. He's got a draconic aura too. This mage isekai nails the power fantasy. Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint. Only our protagonist understands the fate awaiting humanity when the world transforms into the setting of an apocalyptic web novel only he's fully read. He now has to use his knowledge to survive and change the story's tragic outcomes. Back then, Dokja had no idea. He had no idea his favorite web novel, 3 Ways to Survive the Apocalypse, was going to come to life, and that he would become the only person to know how the world was going to end. He also had no idea he would end up becoming the protagonist of this novel turned reality. Now, Dokja will go on a journey to change the course of the story and save humankind once and for all. Leveling up only by eating. In this quirky manhwa, the timid protagonist discovers he can gain experience points and level up by eating. Lots of eating montages, cooking battles, and extreme overeating inbound. Kang Min-hyuk suffers from a rare disorder that makes it impossible for him to stop eating. Despite strict diet and exercise, Min-hyuk's weight is now life-threatening. As a last resort, his doctor recommends a unique treatment, Athene, a VR game where one can eat as much as they want without consequence. Crispy fried chicken, scrumptious Megitang, inside Athene all food tastes real, but earning it is no cakewalk. In order to live, Min-hyuk must go on the ultimate fantasy gourmet adventure. The max level hero has returned. In 4th place is the max level hero has returned. Struck by an enemy's arrow, the powerless Prince Davio Rowan falls into a coma. His soul travels to a place where the greatest of the great gather, the Honorable Hall of Heroes. There, 1,000 years pass as Davy undergoes excruciating training under their watchful eyes to become a hero too strong for his own good. Now back to his own timeline and his kingdom, he's wide awake and the enemies hiding in the king's court better be prepared. The prince they had dismissed is now their biggest threat. After saving the world, the work-to-death max-level hero is transmigrated into the body of a weak level 1 novice knight. Now he's on an epic quest to re-attain power. The fast progression and max-level skills hitting enemies with the force of nuclear blasts are great fun. The player that can't level up. When Kim Kigyu receives his invitation to become a player, a unique ability player at that, he thought his struggles were over. But no matter how hard he tries, he just can't seem to get past level 1. After 5 years of working as a guide on the lowest floor of the tower, he's finally discovered his ability to link with egos and raise his stats. As his new skills unlock adventures in unexplored gates, Kigyu gets his chance to defy expectations and show the world that rank isn't everything. Here, the protagonist is trapped in a game where the level cap won't let him become stronger than level 1. To survive against his threats way beyond his level, he has to outsmart, outskill, and outwit his foes with unpredictable gambits. Very bingeable. Triple S Class Revival Hunter. In the mysterious RPG dungeon-like tower, Confucius Kim lives a mundane existence, envying all the star hunters. One day, his wish for more is granted with a legendary skill to copy others' abilities, at the cost of his life. But this activates his skill and now he's copied a new one, the ability to travel back in time upon death. How will Confucius use these skills to outplay the competition and rise to the top? It is actually pretty good. The plot nutshell: fearsome beasts roam the earth and kill everyone in their path. Natural abilities. Amidst it all, Hanyul is just a poor porter tasked as such. When I started reading it, there were 2 webtoons that immediately came into my mind: Solo Leveling and I Am the Sorcerer King. Because it was quite familiar to these two, I started liking it a lot, and after a few chapters it became quite good. I mostly like the fact that he gets some kind of a guide like Rimuru gets in Tensai Shitara's amazing, as well as the characters. The art could be a little bit better though, but even though it is very satisfying, leveling system Mahua and Mawa you should definitely read. Track the progress of these crazy powerful characters, just don't blame me when you find yourself still reading at 3 AM.